I wish good things to you who is watching this. I am Alexey, and this is the second episode of Carcassonne with subscribers, where we're going to be taking turns playing Carcassonne and AZUL. So if you want to play against me, you can just send me a challenge in Board Game Arena, or preferably just make yourself known in the YouTube chat, and then I can set up the challenge for you. Typically today, just like last time, I want to be alternating between Carcassonne and AZUL, but in case we're getting some 2 Carcassonne games in a row or 2 AZUL games in a row, that is also fine. Let's see where today takes us. And as usual, I'm just going to be starting not against my viewers, but against a random opponent in Board Game Arena. So I'm streaming this with a couple of minutes delay, so it should take a while for the challenges to... Wait, no. What am I... No. Wait. Oh, man. This is just... Why did I click there? No, we're not playing Catan today. I mean, we might, but that's not what y'all came for, so... well, almost dodged the big bullet there. I should really try and focus harder and be less absent-minded, both in streams and life in general. But anyway, so I'm going to start with AZUL because I have been devoting really a lot of attention to competitive Carcassonne in the last month due to the Carcassonne Champions League. And now that that is over, and with the outcome of which I'm happy about, then we can prioritize AZUL just a little bit more in the next couple of weeks, because a month from now it's going to be the World Team Carcassonne Online Championships, and now we're going to be busy with Carcassonne as well. So today, a bit of both, but a bit more AZUL than Carcassonne. Okay, so we get our first random opponent. Somebody screen with the screen name IRS and a bunch of numbers. I have no idea what their skill level is. I have not played with them before. So they start with 2 gold, and we have a shortage of gold here in this round. 3 golds, 6 blues, 5 blacks, 3 whites, 3 reds. So they're taking the gold as the more scarce element. I'm not sure that's the way to go here, because don't I just have a very easy response? Surely this to row 3 looks like the best, right? I can guarantee myself to fill the 3rd row, get myself pretty much the best color for 3rd row. I have plenty of blacks and reds or whites to follow up at the bottom. And this should be quite straightforward. Also, now they can't really complete their 3rd row because if, well, or they can, who do I know? Yes, of course. So this must be a newer player. There is just no good reason for them to give me back 4 blacks. I just have a tremendous advantage right now, because I will be able to complete 4 rows, and not just any 4 rows, rows that align neatly to adjacent columns. It's like ridiculously good. So here we just need to be a bit precise. I guess I'm going to be taking the whites here. I might go with the blacks, but I don't want to allow them an easy row 3 move. Now, the row 5 move is fine, as they are building the main column, but it's very nice that 5 blacks have already been used up. And so they might be forced to keep their row 5 occupied for quite some time. So our position is obviously great. It does not matter in the slightest that we are down on points. But how do we deal with that at first. So I have a lot of white here. I'm definitely grabbing the 2 whites right now, but the question is, do they go on my row 3 or row 4? So if you know what, I think actually I'm going to go extremely greedy. I'm going to be maybe even trying to build 2 columns, but there's some reason for this. First of all, in this round, I have enough blacks to try and put in row 5, perhaps. But I can also put reds in row 5. Let's see. You know what? No, change of plans. We're going to, first of all, just take away the blacks from my opponent. Yeah, he takes the whites. And now, I'm going to create a... Oh, wait, not that way, not that way. That way, I'm going to create a threat of completing row 4. Which my opponent, of course, will want to deal with. And then in a second, we're going to see what the problem with that is. Okay. So first of all, if I can just take 1 black, for example, like this. And isn't that amazing? That saddles them with 5 blues. That actually should just work. I could also take something like 1 red. No, but why would I do that? Why? There's no reason to do that, right? So this looks like a just very, very good situation to be them. Yeah, he takes the golds. And I'm gonna have to take 3 reds. Do I go for the bottom row? Maybe. But you know what? I still want to keep things flexible, actually. And we might have to go the route of not building a column whatsoever, just scoring a lot of points for adjacency bonuses, and taking advantage of the fact that my opponent just dropped 3 blues in their floor line. And also because something like this could happen. So now, I'm not necessarily in a position to build up my row 5 with reds, but I am in a position to do so with blacks, actually. So let me think about this. How many blacks are there remaining? I don't think any blacks were discarded, so 5, 10, 11, there's still loads. Yeah, I think I can do this, actually. It might seem a little bit weird, but I really want to get myself the starting player advantage here. Okay, let me think about this. I mean, he will be getting whites in row 2, right? I could prevent that actually pretty easily. Huh. Why don't I do that? It sounds pretty good. It sounds really good. Yeah, that 1 black doesn't really bother me that much. Now, I think if we just grab this gold, then we're first of all going to leave my opponent without his row 2, I think. Let's just do the reds first. Wait, what is better? Actually, wait, it doesn't matter really that much. Reds or whites? Reds or whites, reds or whites. Oh, I think this is slightly better. So basically, if I take the 1 white, I get a bit more points. Because the way that middle here is built up, is like I'm gonna score 2 for the column, then I'm gonna score 3 for the column, and then in the next round, I want to get 4 vertically like this. So basically, long story short, it is in my... What's wrong? Oh man, Board Game Arena is acting up again. Again. Oh, of course, I need to undo tile selection, yeah. Yeah, this is the idea. He gets, of course, the reds, but it's very, very easy to deny him the reds. And now his row 2 is busted. Now it's a choice whether I discard the one white or whether I actually keep building the one white. And I really wanna build. I think there are enough whites in the deck in the bag to justify just being efficient. I could easily grab a group of 2 whites and put them in row 3. Well, easily it's a bit of an overstatement, but that's fine. It does not really bother me that I have a row clogged. So what do we do here? I think this is best because I can fill row 2 a little bit later. And a little bit later is actually right now. Just because I want to do that before all the rows get too connected. Okay, now that was a mistake from my opponent just because I get to force a move from them. And I can make them discard a lot, I guess. I can discard the reds myself. Or you know what? Let's do this. No. Let's not do this. Let's not do this. Does it make sense to do something like that? I think it does. He takes the reds, I takes the blacks. No, that's bad, that's bad. What are you talking about? I could take the whites as well. Yeah, it's not necessarily obvious what to do here. There are many ways to win this. There is a sufficient number of blacks for me to finish my row 2. Let's do this, actually. Or you know what? I can just play normally. I can just take 1 blue and saddle my opponent with 6 gold. I mean, what's wrong with that, right? There isn't anything wrong with that. Now, it's not obvious where I should take the whites or blacks here. I think taking blacks is a bit more low variance, is a bit lower variance because there may be some scenarios where there's like a group of 3 or something. But for that, we need to figure out how many blacks there are remaining. So I don't remember any being discarded, which should make calculations easy. So 8, 10, 11, 12, 17. So there are 3 blacks remaining, which means that it's actually good to take this one here, just to prevent my opponent from easily scoring. No, just to prevent my opponent from taking away the blacks from me. Hi Nalheim, hi Sunny. Wow, isn't that an interesting run out? By the way, also this is exactly the kind of stuff that I was talking about. So now my opponent cannot prevent me completing that row. They cannot prevent me completing the column. But I can prevent them completing the second row. Well, yeah. Basically, that's what it is. Or maybe not. Maybe I can't. Anyway, I think that could be the way to go, yeah. So we need to finish the game. I might not be fully precise here, but the idea is that we just need to simply finish the game. Oh yeah, so for those of you who are only playing Carcassonne, the game finishes in whichever round when somebody completes one of their top 2 rows. which is usually the 5th round because there are 5 components to each row. But you can see that my opponents sacrificed their row 2, or inadvertently sacrificed their row 2 early on, so they did not complete their top rows. Well, anyway, first one goes in the bag. Plus 30-point difference. Oh, decent level actually. So we're playing a player who was rated 350. Yeah, and I think it really comes down to that opening round, because they were a bit too focused on finishing their 3rd row, and as a result, they allowed 4 black to merge in the center. And after I completed 4 blacks, then my position was just too flexible. There were just so many ways to win. I could try and force 2 columns, and I could just win with no columns at all, simply scoring adjacency bonuses. And this actually is really what we did. So we kept row 5 flexible for a long time, maybe even for slightly longer than we should have. And then in the end, when there was a sufficient number of blacks, just built ourselves up a column. And there were some other tactical issues with our opponents unfortunately clogging some of the rows, which allowed us to force a lot of tiles into their floor line. Let's actually have a look at the statistics. So tiles lost, points lost per floor line, that's 26. It's just, well, it's a lot. Anyway, now Carcassonne time. Let's also start with this. Playing against a British player with what appears to be a Russian screen name. So philatelist means stamp collector. But I'm not sure if that's a word that exists in English. I know that it's a word in Russian, which means stamp collector. All right, so they have the starting player advantage, but they're thinking about this one. All right, there we go. They're starting with a city. We gotta invade in response. They're getting the first monastery. Interesting spot. That actually might work. Because then now we need to think hard about where to place this city cap tile. I could go here for a city invasion. I could do something like this, actually. This would be pretty interesting. But I think... is it possible that the correct move is just to claim the road? Maybe to do something like this? Yeah, I will be leaving something for my opponent regardless. This would be the more standard move. This is actually really not obvious. I could start a new city like this. This also gives a road back to my... No, I think this is best. So I'm putting a bit of pressure on that shared city, potentially shared city. I could actually take it over. I am adding a point to my monastery, but as you can see, now that they get another monastery, this road destroyed this monastery spot for stacking. They, of course, can still stack. Oh, they don't place a meeple, so we know for sure that we're playing a newer player. So most players would meeple this, of course. I get a scoring tile. They're trying to invade the city. I think I have to do something like this. Even though I'm exposing my city for a connection, they are already exerting some pressure here, and I'm threatening to take like 5 points. So let us do this. It would not be a good idea to take 2 points just for this road, because I would be leaving this road end empty. They're now going to presumably continue with their city attack, going over here and equalizing. They might be tempted to turn their Dorito tile to the right and block instead. I don't think it would be correct. They might also just want to take this, which I also think is not correct. Sunny is saying, interested in doing a pair of games after this? Sure. Yeah, so they do equalize. I am going to pick off the empty 4 points and put myself on the scoreboard. So yeah, so you can just send me a challenge with whichever settings you prefer. They're starting a city next to their monastery. I guess I would want to start a city here next to theirs. I could also go upstairs too. Now let's go for this. They're continuing this city, and I get a road monastery, which is a great tile for me or for anybody. I could go here and just take 2 points and reduce variance in this position, so that would make sure that my opponent cannot go over here with a starting tile. Then maybe they can get a Dorito with a road, connect over here, get the quadruple tile, or even force the quadruple tile into the center. But I'd rather meeple a monastery. So I could go this, like this, which looks fantastic. It controls my opponent's city, and it's sets up a road completion here. The one problem is that this square is actually kind of vulnerable, because both road monasteries have gone out. So I'm really fishing for a regular monastery here. That's kind of easy to block. But it's a really, really good spot, so I might go for this anyway. This is just not that strong. This is normal. Yeah, I could do this, but this idea just seems the most interesting to me. This might not even be the objectively best move, but sometimes, just sometimes, you get a draw like what I have right now, which immediately clears up any issues, and I have just an unstoppable position at this point. Well, unstoppable is a bit of a stretch, but it's a great position to be in. I'm about to finish a road. I'm have this monastery stacking over here. I'm going to drop the first farmer, and that's just a fantastic, fantastic spot. My opponent draws the first farmer. I could go over here and set up another monastery spot, but actually at this point, with only 2 monasteries remaining, I don't really need it. I'd rather go here and set up another road that goes through my monasteries, and also, well, there's some problems actually with this move. This square is kind of vulnerable because both right, well, 2 out of the 3 left-handed daggers have gone out, so they could like go over here, place some sort of city tile here, making it so that I need this exact dagger. But I think this is still a good move, because like if I go here, nah, I'm gonna do this. I'm still gonna do this. It's just stronger, because they will be already preoccupied with blocking some of my other features. So for example, well, that's a very, very poor move for my opponents, sadly. They should, of course, just gone over here, started a new city, restricted my city here. I could prevent all that by doing something like this, right? But that would be too inefficient use of tiles. So I'd rather just grab 2 points, keep building up my monasteries. And try to inflict some suffering on red here. They start a new city, taking advantage of my city cap that I left for them. Yeah, sometimes that happens, but now we get to go here, which can threaten a lot of nasty things, including, well, I could have gone, of course, over here with a shielded tile, trying to block them, but I still have a good use for the shielded tile. I have this. I'm going to keep building my cities. Not sure what they're gonna do. Maybe pre-complete their monastery. Or yeah, or if they could do this, they could complete my monastery instead. Or pre-complete it rather. Just to make sure that I don't draw a curve to get those easy 4 points. What can I do? I could do this. I'd rather restrict their fields a little bit, because there could be a situation where I end up not fighting for that field, in which case I want to keep it as small as possible. Okay, so they now try to attack my city, or harass my city rather, and I have several ways of dealing with this. Hi, Ian. So there's this option, which is the just standard move. Right? There's not a large number of Doritos, only 4. So this here pattern is not as strong as it usually would have been. But the move which I prefer is actually going here. Trying to nullify this farmer, really. And also set up an attacking platform on this city. I really like playing against the farm, simply because my opponent is going to struggle with developing this farm. And also by disconnecting his 2 farmers, I can try and fight for the main farm if I have to. Because if he gets a straight line and gets a second farmer to support his first, then my win condition is rather inflexible. Then it's just going for an imbalance, and that's pretty much it. Anyway, what do I do now with this? I could go here and try to attack his city, but that would also leave a city cap in his field. I could go here and build up, which honestly is an option, but this move seems to be my favorite. Yeah, I really want to start attacking his city. And now there's no easy way for him to continue this city, because the best move for him is to do something like this, which allows me many blocking opportunities. Of course, I have to go here. Had I not gone there, my opponent would have completed that city, not something that we ever want to allow. Now we're getting in some dangerous territory here. They could complete the city regardless, and I don't even have a tile to block. I could go here, but there's just so many tiles that allow my opponent to meeple back, so I think I'm better off doing something else. I'd rather just do this and try to harass my opponent's monastery a little bit. I could even go here, which would make it harder for my opponent to complete this city with a Road Dorito plus Vanilla City Cap combo. But then if I do that, my opponent could put something here and restrict this square, which would in turn make it harder for me to put something over here that would block this square. So I'm going to go for the marginal value that I can get to just disturb that monastery a little bit. Nalaheim is saying wild farmers from red in this game. Yeah, but they're still somehow ahead. Okay, now I have 2 options. I could go here and get myself back 3 meeples. But I think, since there are still 5 curves remaining, I'd rather go here and just try blocking my opponent's city. They do defend it, but it's going to take them a longer than usual time to get that meeple out, and I'm just gonna continue building. They also spent a straight line, which they could have spent on recovering their monastery. Now I have another straight line, which I have to use here, in order to block their city. They are just dumping a city tile in a way which is maybe not the most productive, as it restricts their field. And now I have the splitter tile, which I can use in a variety of ways. I think just going here and setting up the completion of the city is the most straightforward idea. I could also go here, actually, which is very nice and difficult to deal with. There's still a splitter, there's still a road Dorito, but if I go here, the problem is that my opponent can just get a Dorito tile, go here, and leave me with only one out to complete this city. This does require some precise calculation. If they go here, they could equalize the city more easily. Then if they do so, they'd spend their last meeple regardless, so that's kind of nice for me. This is really not obvious. So doing something like this is the weakest version of this move, because they will be able to place a restricting tile here regardless. You know what? Yeah, this is the move. So they're going to restrict me, which is fine. I still have a bunch of tiles that fit there. And they're not going to restrict me, which is an interesting move, actually. So they're trying to set up themselves a big road after they complete the city. And then they also are trying to expand their field, which is nice. But I think it's a bit of a misprioritization. I'm going to get all the meeples back. I'm not so concerned about them invading my city, because they will be forced to spend their last meeple on it. Ooh, now it's super tempting. So, okay, do we finish this city? Do we go for this? I mean, it's just points galore. I can finish this city as well. Now, this city is very nice, but what I don't like about this city is that it gives them back an easy road to meeple upon the completion of their monastery. There's still 3 straight lines available, so I think let's just make the boring, responsible move and take the highest scoring feature. And that's maybe not the most efficient way to play, but that's a very sure way to play. I could now fight for the... Well, actually, I can't now fight for the field, because they work their way through, and they manage to connect all the fields. Or almost manage. They will be eventually connecting this field by going over here with a straight line. So I will need to be looking to start a counter field somewhere, which is actually easier said than done. Regardless of where I put the city cap, there will be ways for them to incorporate that city cap into their field. If I go here, they can get a curve and then make the city part of their main field. I could go here. Actually, you know, there's another approach that I can take. I can just drop some farmers and fight for the field. Yeah, that's a way to do things. Not sure how much I like that. In fact, I don't. So I think that going here would be the way to go. So I'm going to start a new city. And then I'm going to try finish the city on the left, maybe block the square, and then just have myself a 6-point counter field. Okay, now with a curve, we obviously have to go here, meeple that juicy road for insurance, not allowing them easy point scoring opportunities. If they were to draw the tile that completes their city here, then with a similar idea, I think now I actually have to go here and meeple this road. It is a lot of points if they manage to successfully complete it. And now that they have done that, they've taken 2 points. Yeah, I think I just should be winning pretty easily in most scenarios, although I need to be careful. Like 32 points is not that big of a lead, because they will be getting 9 for this monastery. They will be getting 20 for the city, actually. They're going to be having at least 18, if not more, for this farm. So I should really just keep scoring. Now this move seems to be the strongest. It's a 3-point monastery. I know it doesn't look like a lot, but it is. Because the plan is that I get to finish that city and drop a farmer. I now get to score some points here. And now I have set myself up most tiles successfully. Okay, so I'm going to just keep scoring, stacking monasteries. Yeah, they get themselves a lovely, lovely splitter tile, which they get to use there. That's actually pretty interesting. So do I go here and keep scoring? Or do I go here instead and take out the empty city cap? And I think this is a little bit better because I still have 2 starting tiles with which I can finish my city on the right. So I just rather prevent them this opportunity. They now make a move which, fine, it blocks some field connections. It blocks my road permanently, although I think that was already close to being blocked. And I'm going to keep scoring, munching on them quick points. They are going to complete their big city, which should make things interesting now. So they get themselves 20 points, but I get an 8 points for the road. And also I now have this lovely setup idea over here. If I get a starting tile, I'm gonna drop a farm right here for 6 points. I could even double down on that setup and actually go over here and drop a farmer for even more points. Regardless of what I do here, I should be spending a meeple, I think. Also, what I'm ahead 26, and their field is not quite that big. So believe it or not, I think the move is actually to go here. To tease them a little bit with a farmer. You'll see how that works out. And we're not going to connect to any field. We're just going to keep dropping farmers. And the point of that is that it is harder for them. Well, it's just harder for them. It's a bit too long to explain. Okay. So now I'm ahead 24 points, and I have a variety of good moves here, but I think I need to be just precise. So what are the remaining tiles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, there are multiple straight lines available, 2 actually. Or is it just 1? No, just 1 straight line available. Anyway, this is the move that I have to play. It should be pretty straightforward here. And I also get the straight line, which is amazing, because I actually get to connect to one of the fields. Or I get to do this. Ah, they're trying to connect my farmers. Or I get to do this and connect their fields and also prolong my road. But I don't think I can afford to do that. I need to know the last tile, but I think the last tile should be a vanilla city cap. No, it's not a vanilla city cap. Is that a dagger or something? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not a dagger. What is that last tile? I should be faster at this. Oh yeah, of course, the dagger was drawn on their previous move. Okay, 1 minute. What is the tile in their hand? No monasteries, no extenders, no splitters of any kind. No straight lines, of course. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So no curves either. Some crossroads, perhaps. No crossroads of any kind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No big tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No Doritos. What is that? What is that tile? Starting tile, of course. The final tile is a starting tile. Right? because there were 2 starting tiles and I drew 1. I should have figured out that way quicker. So my options are, I could go here, connect to the farm, but that would be bad because then they can just reconnect on the left with the starting tile. And I'm going to lose that meeple. I could just go here and score 2 points, but I think this move is rather self-explanatory. So I get to, yeah, I just score way, way more. Wait. Whoops! Thank you, Nalaheim. Yeah, so the fields are already connected, so that was actually... I don't think that was a bad move, because it did score me 3 points. But yeah, hallucination, field hallucination, of course, on my part. In any case, we should be taking this down. 27 points for their field, but I have some fields on my own. Wait, 3 points? Only 3 points? Okay, this was a bit close for comfort, but I don't think there was really an endgame scenario in which they could actually win. So we're doing just fine here. Anyway, interesting game, yeah, with them completing a big city and dropping those early farmers and just getting an ironclad control over the field. Fortunately, my scoreboard lead with this city over here was enough to overcome their tile draws. Yeah, very important, these long roads. This one especially, this was the move that absolutely won me the game, because had I not placed over here with this tile, they would have not only scored an 8-point road, but also I would have passed up on an opportunity to score an 8-point road myself. So that was a 16-point decision there already. So, our first actual viewer game. You're about to have some entertainment at my expense. For those of you who don't know, Sunny is the reigning world champion. Of AZUL. And also, I think I will get to say that phrase forever, because they organized the championship in 2024, but they did not organize a championship in 2025. And it's not necessarily clear if there ever going to be another AZUL World Championship. Alrighty. I'm playing against Sunny here. We're in first position, which is great. I think this is the clear move. Okay, so the point of this move is that it creates the threat of completion of 4th row. If my opponent wants to deny this, they will be forced to merge 3 gold in the center. Hi Vitaly, yeah, commenting on the shape of the city in the last game. I don't think it was intentional from my opponent, who was the one to complete it, by the way. Anyway, it's a rough run out for my opponent because he doesn't really have moves which don't give anything back. That's interesting. So he will be giving away 2 whites with a starting tile, but maybe that's the way to do things. Okay, that's actually really rough. So if I take 2 blacks, which was the original plan, my opponent will be getting the starting player token, and they will be getting 4... They will be getting themselves 4... How do you call them? 4 golds, but maybe that's a trap, because like once that my opponent has committed to row 5, 4 golds are really not that strong. Huh. I think I'm gonna go with this. I think I'm gonna go build up my row 3. I'm gonna concede row 4, and there are just simply some tactical reasons for this. So now we're having ourselves an interesting situation. I can do this, I think. I think it's the strongest move. Wait, is that the strongest move or not? It's just calculation at this point. What if I take 2 golds instead? Huh, maybe that's the idea. Or maybe I can do this and merge all the golds in the center. But if that were to happen, that my opponent just simply going to take 6 golds and put them in row 2, suffer the damages, but they're going to stick me without row 2, and that's going to hurt for me in the long term. I might still have to go for this. That would be an interesting position to play. But I don't think I get quite enough compensation for sacrificed row 2. So the only way I'm okay with not completing row 2 in this round, if they also not complete the row 2. So if I just take my row 2 first, then they... Is there anything else that I can take? I don't think so. I think I want to do this. Yeah, and then that way I get to complete my row 4. Wait, I'm not sure if that's a good move at all, actually. But that's okay. I made the move. That's fine. I was thinking just taking care of my row 3 first, and that might have been a decent idea. Because what they're going to do now instead, I think the best move for them is to take something like 1 red and place the red in row 1. Then they guaranteed themselves row 2 and probably even row 3. That's the thing. And I could take away the golds from them, actually. But then I would be losing myself a lot of points. That said, also, like, the golds in row 3 are not that big of a deal. There's 0 points, technically. And they could connect nicely to their setup a little bit later, but that's something that I can live with. In any case, I don't feel like I extracted the maximum from this position. Malahim is asking, did the AZUL World Championship just not go well? And why wasn't it organized again? No, you just have to ask Asmodee, really. And if anything, I might just write them and ask. Because I think originally that championship was designed by, as a promotional event for the company. Whoa! I don't think that is the strongest move. Moreover, that is definitely not the strongest move. Yeah, I think that was a miss from my opponent. I think they really... should have kept my mouth shut. Should have kept my mouth shut. Yeah, it's 1 red for row 1. That's just really the only move here. It's simply tactics. Well, one thing... So that championship was organized as a promotional event for for Plan B, for the company that produces AZUL. But I'm not sure how they feel about the growing competitive scene of AZUL in general, because, well, I guess you would have to ask them, but one factor might be simply money, because that event did have a budget of tens of thousands of dollars. Tens of thousands? Or just thousands? Maybe, like, my estimate is that it cost them between 10 and 20. No, more. Yeah, we're talking about, I think, around $20,000 overall. Because they did, like, pay for the hotel and for everybody's flights, and there was, like, quite a crew of organizers. Anyway, so it's also, like, a relatively expensive event. What do we do here? Do we prioritize row 4? No, I don't think we do. No, I mean, yeah, of course we do, because if we don't do it, they do it. Now, also, interesting moment here. Is it worth sacrificing a couple of points to disallow him the blues? So if we get the golds in the first line, then we have better adjacency for the future, but we have 0 points. Wait, if we get the blues, then we have 2 points, right? So actually, I think this is the way to go, because we're only sacrificing 1 point for a much, much better position compared to if we place a blue. So the reason for this is because this combination here is actually quite powerful. If I get myself blues and reds, which I don't, it's going to be... Well, actually, wait, I still might. I genuinely still might. This is very interesting. So my first instinct here is to take 2 whites. But I might actually take the 1 red instead. Is it crazy? Yes, it is crazy. Come on, man. Because I was thinking that maybe they don't have a good place to use all the whites, but in fact they do. They can just use white for row 1. And this is something that I don't like. I will be, of course, at some point, well, right now, finishing my row 2 with blues. There's still plenty of reds remaining for my row 5. So even though they will be quite easily completing their row 2 and row 3, this run out is overall quite favorable for me. They're probably completing row 4. Like, I don't think I can realistically prevent them from doing that. What I would like to do is group all golds for row 5, or all blues for row 5. So interestingly, they prioritize row 3, which surprises me a little bit, because the row 3 is a little bit flexible. They could put gold there theoretically. So now I have an interesting choice, as I do in most cases. So I could take the first player tile, which really doesn't give me much. I could take the 1 red, which actually would be quite spectacular. But if I take the 1 red, they can group all the blues and just deny me row 2 pretty easily. So I think this is the way to go. There isn't really a very productive way for them to take the starting player token. I mean, yeah, they could get the... What they could get? The 1 red or something, or 1 black. But then I'm threatening to merge a lot of stuff in the center for them real soon. And they should be suffering casualties on the floor line. So they do this. And now it allows me to disrupt their row 4. if I so choose, but I wonder if that's the main priority there at all. I think I have some better ideas. Well, let's see here. I will be getting something for my row 4 or row 5. Ideally, I would really want to get 5 gold for row 5. The reason for that is that it could allow me to threaten complete color in the future or a second complete column or something like this, although I need to bear in mind that 3 gold were discarded. So what could we do? I could take 1 blue for row 1. So if I take this 1 blue for row 1, then their best move is probably to take 2 blues here. Actually, I doubt how great it is for them. Okay, what else could I do? I could take 2 blues for row 1. No, I don't want to do that. Yeah, I could actually take 2 blues for row 1. And then... Yeah, fine. I'm gonna do this. Just want to be efficient and also to create some threats for myself, really. Ooh, you know what? So this is actually pretty interesting. I get to maybe shift the column that I'm building. Is that crazy? I can start building column 5. Or not really. I think I'm getting saddled with the blacks. That's the problem. I thought that I would get saddled with the blacks. Well, it is what it is. Anyway, I'm just going to go here. They, of course, are going to get the blues. I might put the blacks into my row 5 anyway, just to avoid floor line losses. And I think that's the way to go. Yeah, I really don't want to lose 5 points there. And then my plan is just to... Well, it's a bit of a... It's not a great plan, actually. Because I have to finish my row 5, and then I have to get some reds. But I really hate losing 5 points. But maybe I just had to lose 5 points. I don't know. So I should be able to take 2 blacks this round. This would clean off my row 5 for a variety of options. And actually, now that I think about this, I can finish another column. Because I have blues in this round, and that's what's just absolutely lovely for me. I will be finishing my row 5, right? Pretty much no questions asked. Well, let's just do this. I think I really need that starting player tile here. Yeah, this is just too good. And then my plan is to get a lot of reds in row 2. And then for row 3, I can get either golds or blues, but probably really blues because they're putting their golds in row 2. Yeah, I figured. Then the next plan is go with the red over here, I think. so that I can group 3 blues together, making it harder to discard. And then my next move is going to take this 1 black and group together 2 reds and 2 whites so that I can have multiple options for my row 2. So something like this. Yeah, that could work. That could actually work really, really well. Blues are not a concern anymore. The only way how they can deal with blues is take point sacrifices, so we're absolutely okay with that. This position is suddenly not that terrible. I should be getting an advantage in a run-out with a lot of reds, or in a run-out with a lot of whites, because I get to complete my 3rd column. What should my opponent do? I have no idea. Oh, you know what? Actually, a very interesting move would be for them to take 1 blue for their row 1. Then I maybe take 2 reds, then they take 2 blacks. Then I take 1 black. Well, anyway, I don't know anything. So I'm going to proceed with my plan, which is just to do this, right? And they should be saddling me with 2 gold. So I think that is the plan all along. But in any case, I had to do what I did simply to make sure what? Oh yeah, because I just really needed to complete my row 5. Anyway, so this is not the move that I expected. This is not the move that I expected at all. So what should we do here? Should we prioritize the whites? Should we prioritize the reds? I think I want to prioritize this. Because they're planning to take all the blues for row 1. Isn't that interesting? But what if I take the blues myself? Then they're taking whites for row 1. So there really isn't a way for me to benefit big. But you know what? If I take the... I think I want to actually take the reds here. Then they take the whites, then I take the blues, then they take the gold. Wait, I'm not sure. I'm just so not sure. So white is more immediate points. But reds kind of makes it a bit easier for me to focus on the bottom, on the row 5, and really trying to get that column done. Because now that I complete my objective regarding reds for the top row, then I should be doing fine, right? For the second row, rather. This is really not straightforward. There are a lot of reds still remaining, though. Okay, you know what? I think we're going to do this simply because of the floor line points. Simply because they're getting all of those extra floor line points, and that's very nice. But I didn't calculate that impact carefully. So let's see what ends up happening. They're also getting gold for row 3, which temporarily disrupts their column, which is very nice. So in a run out with very few gold, I'm just winning this, for example. Imagine if there's 0 gold here, which of course is a big if, but you know. Okay, this is a horrible run out. Well, I'm not sure about horrible, but like the colors are fine, but just the way how they're distributed is kind of very difficult. Man, I feel like he's gonna swindle me again. He's gonna swindle me. What do we do here? What on earth do we do? Can we still take row 5, or do we have to even do that? Are there enough blues to take the column? I think there are, actually. There are. Oh, no, that's a fantastic run out. Wait. 8 whites. They are 10, 12, 15. It's actually quite hard for them to finish their column now. Huh. So you know what? How about we try and do something like this? Is that crazy? Or I could take 1 black to be as efficient as possible, but then they take the gold with tempo. No, I don't think I want that. I don't think I want that. I don't think I care about columns at this point. I just want to outscore him, because like 6 points is just enough. It's just enough. And I will be getting a black at the top. I will be getting 2 reds. There should be enough blacks to complete my final row as well. It does not help that we have the same configuration for our top rows, because Sunny's going to start the last round, so he will be a bit ahead. But I don't think there's enough stuff for him to fill everything. Okay, so... Oh, he's going for that column. Okay, that's interesting. So I'm just going for this. Which will be a bit difficult for him. Wait, but can't I now just do this? Can't I just take this, actually? Hey. If I just discard this tile. Okay, this is interesting. I could take 2 gold and just drop them, making row 3 impossible for him. But maybe row 3 is already impossible, because I wasn't paying too much attention to the discarded tile, but I think it's technically still possible. Let's just do this and see what happens. Because I'm also threatening my column as well. I'm not sure. Maybe I should have discarded the 2 gold here. But he just does really not seem to care about the gold. Okay, what do we do next? Okay, now I have to discard the gold. Right? I could also discard the whites, actually. Or just put whites in row 5. That's also really interesting. But I think I have to do this. Just want to saddle him. And I can just win 7 points now. So, or I can complete my second row and lose a little bit, but I think this is really good. because I have a significant threat for my column. He also has a threat for his column. The runout is actually quite horrible, but that's okay. So yeah, the runout is horrible because he gets to have the 3 blues. But even then, I still get to threaten something. And he should not be able to get his column if I'm careful enough about it. Also, I'm 10 points ahead. That's something that needs to be reminded. Yeah, I think I should be fine here. So he cannot possibly have any other move here other than blue to row 4. I really cannot imagine anything else. And if we play our cards right, then he should be discarding a lot. And I can even let him have his column. Also, now we see how crucial it was to actually deny him the row 3. Because sometimes you get these skewed runouts with all whites on one plate. Hi, Al. Okay, that's smart. So he's just trying to deny me the joy of finishing the game, huh? Or make me lose points. But then I think it's a pretty straightforward decision. Let me just then complete my column. He might discard 3 whites now just to get the game into the 6th round. But I don't think it's really worth it, right? I guess I'm going to allow him to do that. Wait. Why am I doing... Yeah, so the reason I want to actually take the red soon enough is because he's threatening complete color. But maybe that's not such a bad idea. Yeah, okay, let's just do this. Let's just take care of the game finishing. Then he might try and start building his complete color. But if that's going to happen, I'm going to deny him the column. So that's the plan. Okay, instead then that's not a big problem. I can just get here. And then if he gets this, then I, of course, gets to do this. And make him just drop a little bit on his floor line. I'm not counting points here, but I cannot possibly imagine how I could not win. Yeah, because that column threat is just too big. So plus 13 is the final result, which makes me happy. Anyway, feel free to send your next challenge, whether that's AZUL or Carcassonne, preferably Carcassonne, to take turns. Yeah, so just have a look at this game. Very interesting. I felt like the first round run was really good, and I had an advantage from the start and just kept holding to it without doing anything stupid. I don't think I got the maximum out of the tiles that I got, but it was good enough. Yeah, very interesting tile run out with all those whites. And Sonny went for the completion of his column, but at that point it wasn't enough because I just had too many threats. Like there were, yeah, you see, at that point there was enough blues for me to finish this column. There were enough reds for me to finish this column if I wanted. So there was just so many ways to win this. And even in the penultimate round, I could have just placed 2 reds here and simply went for 2 columns. But yeah, so in both of the AZUL games today, it looks like flexibility is really helpful. Kind of deciding on that final win condition a little bit later, which is similar to how Carcassonne is really. Anyway, good day so far. And we get an invitation for Carcassonne. $676, it's a very high rating. And obviously a lot of similarities between AZUL and Carcassonne in the strategic considerations. And our opponent gets the starting... I was going to say the starting player token, but that's not how it works. We're playing Carcassonne now. So the starting player advantage, it's simply... Okay, so the dagger... Standard moves so far. We're going to do this, and sometimes we get blocked, but that's okay. We also get the perfect tile to continue. What blue should do here is not obvious. Oh, they go for this. I would have preferred a different move. Actually, this deserves some merit, but no, not really, yeah. Because now they cannot finish their city without obstructing their road. Yeah, this is kind of dangerous, actually. So let's see what they do. Yeah, I really think it's a mistake. Like, what they should have done, they should have simply gone over here, started a road. Like, this is just so much safer. And it also creates some annoyances for this guy as well. By this guy, I mean my meeple. Yeah, they now continue blocking and stuff, but you know, what can we do? We can do this, actually, because I wanted to get a tile to defend, but since I can't, I might as well open... Actually, I'm going to do this. Because they're interested in using a city cap for attacking my city, I think I have more time to be a bit more proactive with the farms. Yeah, I really like it. They'll be now trying to block my city, as they should, and they'll probably succeed. But if that happens, then I have some compensation. Whoa! Interesting. So they... I'm not sure. Yeah, scoring is nice, of course. But then... blocking is nicer, I guess. Anyway, I can do like this, or like this. I think this is better, controlling their roads. Now it's a very interesting decision. What are they going to do? So are they going to invade my city? Or are they going to pick off the empty city cap? And yeah, they invade my city, which allows me to pick off the empty city cap. They could win my city, actually. That's very, very interesting what ends up happening of it. But so they could just try and YOLO it for the quadruple city tile. My position so far is great. Equality on the scoreboard, but I have the monastery. I have an 8-point city about to happen. I have another spot for a new monastery next to the monastery. And they go for the... Huh! They go just for this without the meeple. Okay, interesting. This is not necessarily wrong, but then I wonder... Does it make sense to go for this? I think at some point I will. I will at some point attack them. Now I need to decide, is it worth to go here? Is it worth going here and trying to break 2 of their meeples? Or do I just keep things peaceful by going over here and starting a new road? I think I want to keep things peaceful And there's also an additional reason for this. First of all, this sort of defense is actually, like, this sort of attacking move, it's not that hard to defend against. And second, if they continue their road with a curve, then I get to get another curve and push them into this city and block this road meeple anyway. And this is also good for the shape of the field, which is kind of close, but it's going to be just big enough to justify this meeple. So it has just the right number of green squares here. I think at some point they should really try and attack the big city. Maybe even right now. Maybe they should do, you know what? Something like this, actually. Nah. I think you really do this, and you actually place a meeple there. And then you have like several ways how you can get out of the situation. Of course, you can get the quadruple city tile and win big. Or you can trap this road meeple, but okay. Now, like, I will attack that big city at some point. I'm just gonna do it. I don't care, I'm gonna do it. Or they're gonna do it. Okay, finally they do this. It's a very good move. I'm very close to being, I'm in a difficult position here. So, am I just gonna take 2 points? I'm gonna just go here. Nope. No city breaking, just take the points. And then we're going to try and deal with that threat a little bit later. They make a mistake, I think. Finishing the road is fine, but the orientation should have been a bit different. So the reason why they should have pointed the road pointing upwards is because once I finish my city, it would give him some really nice chances for blocking my monastery, which is now not going to be possible. Now I have a variety of moves. I could pressure the road a little bit, but I think this is best. Do I meeple this, though? I think I actually do. I think I need to meeple this. And they are probably going to defend. Yeah. So the power of their city attack is that sometimes I just lose and there's nothing that I can do. That's the beauty of it. And when is that sometimes? 35% of the time. So 35% of the time I'm actually going to lose that big city. Anyway, so my point is to try and get as much compensation as possible before that happens. Do we drop a farm here? Not yet. We can do that later. I really want to enjoy my temporary meeple advantage. They get a straight line to continue their road. I can start putting pressure on this city. But I think it's maybe even more precise to put pressure on the other city, whilst also building a road. Maybe that's the way to go. Yeah, let's do that, actually. So they now will finish their city, which allows me to do this. It allows me to block their road, which is big. The reason why it's so important to block this road is because there's a road monastery tile that they can get, and that's going to be just huge. We don't want that to happen. My road at the bottom is a little bit vulnerable because we're running a bit short on triple crossroad. There's only one of those. So this square could potentially get blocked, but that's okay. Okay, so if they finish a city, which makes sense, I get a scoring tile. I could use it here, actually, but I won't. Or... No, let's just score. Keep that city open. Oh, whoops, it wasn't 35%, it was 45%. 40% rather. Wait, 40, almost 45. 42. Because I forgot that there were 3 tiles that fit there. Yeah, that farmer is just excellent from them. Which makes me think, is it crazy to go here? Allow them to complete this... No. Okay, so if I go here, I give them like 10 more percentage points for completing the city, but I get to win the field. No. I don't think I can afford to do that. But also, if I don't do that, they do that. Well, if they do that, they do that. There's really not that much we can do. Okay, we have to go here. We have to protect our road a little bit. I think that's the plan. I don't think we get to make any other moves than other than this. They now try to block my city, which makes me think that a move like this could be in order. It does very nicely protect it. It sets up some nice scoring opportunities. I could also go here as well and pre-build my road, because if I don't finish it now, like, how else am I going to finish it? Also, it makes me think, why did I place a meeple here? Maybe I didn't have to. Okay, focus. Now this move. Yeah, I think I need to do this, because there's still enough tiles that fit there. So we're gonna go here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're not going to meeple that road, because if my opponent completes that road, they make their city more vulnerable. Now we're going to meeple that road. We get the wrong type of dagger. They get their first meeple majority of the game, because they're going to finish their road as they should. And I am going to start a new city. As I should, I think. Yeah, that meeple at the bottom is a big problem. I cannot really imagine any other move than them finishing their road. Also, I don't have that many tiles for my city, which is interesting. I have 2 butterflies. I have 1 dagger. That's about it. And I have some road Doritos. Well, I guess that's enough. In any case, my move is clear. I need to continue my road in order to give myself more road end options to recover said road. And starting a new city, that also makes sense. They get the last dagger of its kind, which they're probably going to do... I'm not sure what exactly. Finishing their city makes sense. They could also go here, which is pretty interesting, actually. No, but if they go here, I don't think that's good, because I very often get something like a curve here and just make an incredibly painful thorn. Yeah, so that makes sense. We're going to exchange natural moves here. Okay, so they get their monastery. And it's unpleasant timing, but I think I still have to go here, although I sometimes get both my meeples blocked, but it's just way too many points. It's just way too many points to pass up. And I have that big threat of completing the city and dropping a farmer. Now, they will be trying to block it. Of course, they will be trying to block it. But very often I get to get myself some sort of a defense tile. regardless of how they turn the curve, I am going to have a good defense move. So if they turn the curve like this, then my defense is to go here. Or maybe, wait, or maybe even here actually, huh? Maybe an indirect defense is better because I don't have to finish the monastery, I just have to finish the city. Now, if they go here, then obviously I'm going to play an indirect defense. So they go here. Now, what exactly is my defense? If I go here, I allow myself more tiles. I allow myself the starting tile. I allow myself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The curves. If I do this, I allow myself everything except the starting tile, right? So the question is, how important is that starting tile? 1, 2. Huh. I don't think it's that important. Okay, let's think about this actually. So if we go here, again, I have one extra tile that fits. But they also have one extra blocking tile because they can use a road monastery to go there. So a curve doesn't change anything, but a road monastery, that's really, really good. If they do get the road monastery, then I still have the start. You know what? I think this is still best. I'm also getting myself a monastery point. There's no way to for them to complete the. Just as I say it again, the starting tile. Oh man. Anyway, but I still get to use it on my other city, and there's also this additional consideration. But there's some scenarios that where I need the starting tile on this road instead. So in that sense, it actually works. Yeah, now for example, I might actually just do this. No, that would be bad. What am I talking about? I just want to build. I will be probably losing that. Well, no, but that's bad. That's bad. Come on, come on, come on. Let's do this. Let's keep scoring. So yeah, in that sense, I did get to use the starting tile elsewhere. And they can't really block me properly now, can they? I don't even know if they should be taking these 4 points. They probably should. But I really don't know. But let's say if they take these 4 points, now I get the straight line. And now suddenly I'm threatening to draw a road monastery and go over here and get like a huge farm. Also, I can draw a road monastery to go here and threaten this here monstrosity. So I do have potentially some big setups that could counter them finishing a big city, the one which is the elephant in the room right there in the center, if my setups are big enough. So yeah, actually I like my move with the curve. I think it works out best precisely because of this road. Now, the road meeple was dubious in the first place, but that doesn't matter because we are in the position where we are. Past mistakes, they don't mean anything. Sunny, of course, does not want to go there because these 4 points would mean conceding this idea. Ooh! Invasion, okay. Actually, that's pretty smart. That's pretty smart. Yeah, there's still one tile that fits there. Anyway, so it's quite an obvious decision. We get to continue our road and actually threaten some unpleasant things. And you see, and now they get the tile that they wish they had gotten before to score these 4 points and also blocked my road, but now it's no longer possible. Very curious to see what happens there. As for this invasion, I'm not sure if that's such a good move, because now I am scoring a lot of points here. I'm scoring like 12 extra with these two meeples. I'm scoring 13 versus 1, so I don't necessarily need to even complete this. As blue, you know what I would have done? I would have gone over here and dropped a farmer. And then maybe leave a chance to get like the road monastery and connect to the big farm. Maybe something like this. Well, their move also makes sense. And it's very interesting. And now I have no idea what's correct for them. They should probably... I don't even want to think that. Let's just see what they do. Because I want to go here at some point, but I also might want to go here. So I just want to be planning my next move, really. Now I'm saying the deck says psych. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's a smart move. I hoped they wouldn't find it. They're trying to set up a blocking platform against myself. Now, two options for me. I could go here and block this city cap, which looks very reasonable. Or I could also go here and take an extra road points. The point of blocking the city cap is the fact that they can benefit from it easier than I can. But then also that city cap is on a field, which I can claim. Ouchie, ouchie, ouchie! So, do we claim the city cap or do we finish my own city? Finishing the city? No, let's be greedy. Now that they're actually threatening this, I think I want to be greedy. And I also really want to set up that farming idea. But I might just pay for my greed very, very dearly here. Well, it's not as dearly as it could have been, really. Whew. Yeah, I'm not sure. That meeple shortage could really cost me. That meeple shortage is unpleasant. I can still finish that city, but it can take me a while. And we're running short on daggers. Do I go here? And then maybe try to finish that shared city. Just to get myself some meeples back. That is an option. I could also go here, but this move doesn't do anything for the safety of my road, really. Yeah, you know what? I think I need to go here because if I do get the road Dorito, then I think my priority is to actually build up my city on the right. All right, let's keep fighting. Ouchie! So they go for the 7-point monastery, which I know it looks bad, but they would have had a 6-point spot regardless. Now, I can go here and try finishing my city. And then hope that they're not able to block. Or I could go here and set up the triangle tile. I don't think I have many other options here, really. Oh, wait, I can use... Ooh! How about this move instead? I can set up a road recovery like this. They can block me, but then if I do get that, that'll be huge. That is interesting. That is really interesting. But then also it denies me the option of getting the road monastery. How do I maximize the utility of my tiles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 curves remaining, so they can block a little bit. Doritos, only 1 Dorito. Yes, okay. So the road Dorito is not that good for me. So if I do something like this, if I do something like this, if I get the road Dorito, One, two, three, four, five. Yeah, let's try for this, basically. Let's try for this. Okay, well, we dodged the bullet here. But my position is still vulnerable. The reason why I didn't want to do that other setup, yeah, I guess that was to preserve the chances for drawing the road monastery. It's a very complicated position. I'm not sure if my move is correct, but like at this point in the game, it's just really about maximizing the number of tiles that are good for me. And I'm now slightly more likely to recover a meeple than they are, although it's a questionable statement. I think they can now set up a monastery completion with another monastery. This is their best move. I'm gonna say by far. To the point that I actually might abandon the idea of me completing my city and instead add the 2 points to my city and kind of like break it a little bit. The reason why I'm okay with abandoning the idea of completing my city is because now that I know that my opponent is not going to complete their big city, yeah, so they go for this, which is pretty interesting. And then that makes sense. They're trying to prevent me from drawing the crossroad tile, right? So what's more important at this point? The threat of finishing my city or the 2 extra points? And also if I get here, then I have some city tiles that can mess with their monastery. Although, not really, right? If I go here, the only way how I can truly block them, if I get the last remaining Dorito. Wait, is there 1 Dorito or 2? Oh, okay, there are 2 Doritos with a road. No, one, just 1. With a field. I get to do this and then block them, but that's just not that valuable. So I think I still want to preserve the chances of completing that city. And maybe now just do something like this. Because I'm a bit more likely to recover a meeple than they are. They're now going to score. I get the penultimate monastery, which is very good for me. There's only 1 curve remaining. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2 straight lines, so I can still renew the threat of completing my road. A road monastery would win this game on the spot for me. A road Dorito would create the threat of doing so. That would be nice. So the thing with the road Dorito, if I do get it here, then I can get one of the 2 remaining vanilla city caps, and since there's still straight lines remaining, it's kind of difficult for my opponent to do something. Okay, so my opponent scores. I'm up a couple of points. There's really not that much that I can do. Here, I don't want to go here. I don't want to create this much variance. Let's just do this. They will now build up their monastery. and try and set up either a city or a field. And this is very interesting. So what is better, setting up a city or setting up a field? I mean, either they're going to set up their last road monastery or they're going to set up a city. Oh, wait, so there's only one monastery tile, right? Oh, they do this. Yeah, that was always an option, really. So now if I go here, well, I should go here, right? That is the logical thing to do. I renew the threats of trying to like block them hard. Yeah, that is quite a straightforward decision, really. And my next decision is not straightforward. My next decision is very much not straightforward. So I get my road Dorito tile. And I could use it here, actually, to sort of tie the fate of the monastery and the city. But I think this has to be strong. Or does it have to be? Wait, how many city caps are there? Isn't there just one? Oh, well, there's a splitter too. And a vertigo splitter. Huh. That is maybe looking not that bad if I just do this. Also, this move is worth 2 points. Yeah, I feel like this gives me a lot of good options. Well, there's also this, right? There's also such a draw possible. I also forgot about the quadruple crossroads, which makes my road move make even more sense. And now that I will be able to complete that city, I think there's really... No, there's something that my opponent can do. They can fight for the big field. In any case, I'm just going to go here, and I think it's even worth dropping a farmer. Precisely because... Oh no, never mind. Yeah, that farmer's really, really good. So what are we going to do? Wait, actually, I haven't guaranteed myself anything. So maybe my farmer was premature. I should have thought about it for longer. Anyway, I'm down 2 points. I'm down 12 on... I'm up 12 on the left, so that's plus 10. In the city mini battle, I'm down 2, so that's plus 8. In the road mini battle, plus 4. Wait, Wait. I'm down 2. Here, plus 12. That's plus 10. I'm down to 2 here. That's plus 8. In the road mini battle, I'm up 4. That's plus 12. Here, I'm down 3 in the field mini battle. That's plus 9. That's plus 9. And there's still an incredibly impactful tile remaining. Huh. There's still the road monastery. Well, the road monastery, they can really score a maximum of 9. No, they could score 15, actually, if they go on the left. Yeah, I think this is the move, just trying to figure out what that final tile is. Oh, road Dorito, of course. So they could score a maximum of 13 with this. Yeah, they could score a maximum of 13. So let's go on the field on the left. Well, and it ends up not mattering. Yeah, with this tile. So this was my worst potential draw. Whoops! I forgot about that ruin. Yeah, they have this ruin on the left. Anyway. Yeah, the reason why I created the ruin on the left in the first place is because at that point I was like slightly more likely to recover a meeple compared to them. Very, very complicated game. I guess their best move is to drop a 6-point farmer at the bottom and then hope that their last tile is the tile that I'm holding, so that they can score themselves some more field points. Yeah, they go for the... Oh, if they go for the ruin, yeah, obviously. I forgot that the ruin is simply more points, and I get the tile that I need. So that's a 6-point swing towards the end. They get a useless road monastery, a phrase which I did not think I would ever utter, but they cannot score with that at all. Whilst I get to expand my field. So my win should roughly be +8, +9, something like this. Maybe I forgot a couple of points. Yeah, incredibly interesting game. And I'm not sure about some of my decisions. So for example, this invasion over here from them, in terms of win probability, that was actually very nice. Even though you complete the city only like 40–30% of the time, the impact of that is so huge that it's just very difficult for yellow to come back. So 8 points, no, 10 points is in fact the final difference. Yeah, it was really, really close. So some interesting things here. I think a move which ended up working really well was actually this city cap over here, just to give myself one more critical tile to use. And this city turned out to be the game-winning feature. Another interesting moment is this move actually ended up hurting Sunny. Because by going over here and trying to block this square, he inadvertently blocked the blocking square for the future. Here's what happened. He went with this. I got myself the Dorito tile. And then Sunny got the crossroads, which now no longer fit over here. So he got himself the crossroads here, and I got the city plus field cap, which I used to finish the monastery. And at that stage of the game, there were 2 city plus field caps and only 1 city plus road cap. So yeah, in that sense, it ended up being quite damaging. Anyway, a very interesting game. Yeah, very well played, Sunny. And do let me know in the chat if you have any other ideas. Oh, yes, you do. Okay. Nalaheim is saying Sunny would have had a path to win if they had gotten CRRR and then the Dorito for 7 + 9 points. That was 16. But is that enough? Oh, I guess that was enough, huh? Wait. Oh, they would have won like +1 or +2, yeah. Well, but I don't think I could prevent that really with the tile that I had, or could I? Because from my perspective, going for the 6-point field is still like the maximum that I can score. So then does this mean that me creating this ruin was too much? Should I have not done that? Maybe. Maybe I should not have done that. It's something that's very difficult to judge, so you're trying to predict how the game situation is going to be like 10 moves down the road, 15 moves down the road. So I figured that I would be the one who's more likely to take this ruin, but maybe that wasn't the case. Anyway, yeah, very entertaining and complex game. So it turns out that Sunny did have a 16% chance to win in that final run out. Alrighty, so we do get another Carcassonne game, though ideally I want to play AZUL next. But we're just gonna improvise here. Also, by the way, whenever I have these streams, like games with viewers, very often or most of the time I get invitations from players who are very high rated. Like Sandy Nalaham right now, but just to be clear, it's for everybody. So in case if you are lower rated, then don't feel shy by any means. We're here to learn and we're here to have fun. Yeah, so definitely doing an AZUL game after this one. Okay, there we go. Just some casual Carcassonne against one of the strongest players in the world. No big deal. Okay, Nalahheim with his green meeples again. Gets to go first. This is the standard response here. No need to meeple anything. There are very few openings where the first move is not to meeple anything, and this just happens to be one of them. Not a great tile, not many options. I guess just going over here, equalizing the road is about the best that I can do. They're going to build up their monastery, and maybe even meepling that road could be good. They choose not to. Nalahheim in general is a bit more conservative about meepling stuff in the opening than I am. Well, now surely they're going to meeple this. Yeah, like this. Now, I wish I had some sort of triple city to go over here and quasi-Ukraine these two meeples, but I really can't. So the best that I can do is go here, start a new city, and also create a field which benefits me a bit more than it does benefit my opponent. Because it will take some time for them to build up their monastery, and I could take a stronghold on some field somewhere, perhaps. Now, they do find their strongest move, of course. But now the question is, what is my strongest move? Finishing a city and starting a new one, or doing something like this? Let's go for fun. And it pays off, and it pays off immediately. Like, in order, of course, it wasn't just fun. The idea for that move was to set up Dorito tiles, which, of course, are all present in the deck. So, and it's not even obvious that this is the best move. I might have to equalize this city. No, it's just too many points. I have to go for this. Farmer, no farmer just yet, but a farmer soon. A farmer very, very soon there. Unless they're first. There might be first. But if they drop a farmer, which they might, so a move like this could be possible. They might also go here. Then I could go here and try to put pressure against both of my opponent's squares. You know, this might be actually the way to do in any case. The way to go in any case. I don't think that farm is that urgent, even though it's really, really good. I'm also somehow ahead on the scoreboard, which is very nice. He does go for the farmer. And now, we don't go here just yet. We don't go here just yet for the farm. We need to go here. And as a result, our opponent has 3 squares where he needs a city plus road tile. So this shows you how these partial blocks work out. Because now our opponent needs the same tile everywhere. I see now, well, a couple of really strong... Oh, yeah, that is an option. That is a really strong move. Oh, boy. That's a very nice setup. There was an alternative. He could have gone here. Okay. So now I have several good moves. I could go here, drop a farmer, which is actually what I'm going to do. I could go here, start attacking that city immediately. But I think this is just really, really good. Yeah, and also now I'm going to just take that city. I know I'm helping my opponent's monastery, but come on, it's 8 points. But they have compensation, so this works out quite fine for them. And it looks like we're headed in for a Brazilian field fight. Because that field at the top is very, very nice. Some road monasteries could be drawn where all the fields unite. I'm ahead 18 points, but my opponent has 8 on the monastery and 4 on the road, so I'm only ahead just a little bit. Not sure what the best move for my opponent is here. Maybe dropping a farmer on the left. But then that field is really, like, it's not such an urgent deal. Wow, do they go for the second farmer? I'm not sure how I feel about that. I guess they're hoping that the fields will unite, but maybe they won't. Now, I actually doubt if going here is the best move, because I think I want my opponent to finish the monastery with another monastery, just so that I can later block this square. And also if I think that going and play something here is actually way more annoying. Or here, for that matter, simply starting a new city. That's also really nice. And then I could just drop a farmer there. But I want to give it a try. I want to see how annoying I can be. So a year ago, I would just always go points. But now I think it's a bit more subtle than that. I'm sacrificing a couple of points, but I think there are a lot of positional benefits. Because now my opponent sort of has to go here before he gets the monastery. And also with this move, I'm doing a lot of stuff. Like, I'm eliminating the potential of my opponent's secondary field. I'm also disrupting the loop for their road. So I think it's worth the sacrifice. And I also still have the meeple majority to fight for the primary field, which I'm about to do. He goes there, which serves the purpose of eliminating a field connection platform. But I'm just going to go here. Like, why can't I fight for this farm instead? Still plenty of farming options. Green could go on the left and try and maybe create some backdoor chances of blocking yellow's top meeple. So the idea is that yellow, of course, wants to connect to the field like this. Maybe this connection could get blocked, in which case there's a secondary route to go over here. Ooh, really? Really? I would very be curious to hear Otto's explanation here, because it just doesn't... I guess it's sort of, yeah, it's breaking my road. I mean, that makes sense, but it's breaking my city. But it's also breaking his own road in many scenarios. Okay, I want to do this. I want to block off my opponent's field. I want to start a new city. I maybe also want to do this. But really, I don't. I want to be efficient here. I have the meeples to do so. Yeah, because now Green will be trying to break my city, and after he has done that, then I'll be trying to break his... Okay, that is stronger. I should have thought about that. Yeah, now I will be trying to break my city against his road. Anyway, so there's obviously this move. There's this crazy move, which I'm not going to play. I think this move is nice. It develops my secondary field. And it also eliminates some farming options for my opponent. This tile is fantastic though, yeah, because Otto gets to do stuff like this. But, is there a but? No, not really. I mean, I will be trying to block his monastery, but I'm unlikely to be successful, actually. He will be able to equalize that field in all likelihood. Okay, so do we do this? Or this? No, this is bad. This is also an option, but this is also bad. This is an option. This is actually not that bad, but I think this is just best. Yeah, that makes sense, simply scoring. I can also score a little bit. I could get my meeple back too. I could go here, equalize that road, but I don't think I wanna. Ooh, this is fun. This is also actually really good. I think I'm gonna do this. There's still a sufficient number of city tiles to feel good about moves like that. Yeah, he's now trying to block me whilst also scoring points. And do I go here now? I might. Of course, I want to also get a meeple back at some point from somewhere. I also want to not get blocked. So I could score here. I could just get a meeple back straight up. If I go here, then maybe this... How dangerous is this block? I also have to ask myself. I can also play something like this at some point. No. You know what? I think I'm just going to play it safely. Yeah. Monastery for my opponent. I am going to start yet another city, of course. And he's now probably going to invade my field. He should. He really should. Still leaving himself chances to get a road monastery and unify all the farms, which now makes me think about moves like these, actually. Yeah, I think this does more for my win probability than the extra points. I could also do something like this. That would be interesting as well. This would kill off the monastery spot next to my opponent's monastery. Same idea with this move. I think I like that. Yeah, I like that. So again, even though it is 0 points instead of 2, the threat of my opponent getting a road monastery and winning a big field is a bit too much. And overall, I have a decent position with +7, with some meeples which can be relatively easily recovered. Okay, now of course, he gets this. I think here I have two options, either going here. Okay, I have multiple options. I can just connect some of the farmers. This, for example, could be a worthy move. This is also a decent move, but I think just delaying the recovery of my opponent's meeple is worth doing. There are 2 regular monasteries. It is a lot. This is also... yeah, let's do this. 50-50s are... ah, I knew it. I knew it! Fine. Okay, let's try and build up some monasteries, I guess. Although, if I go here, that's maybe not the ideal pattern of monastery completion. There is actually a route how my opponents can connect to the main field, although it's a bit far-fetched. But basically it goes curve, curve, city cap, curve, something like this. It's not easy to get. Okay, but let's go here anyway. And see how my opponent deals with that. Yeah, of course they do this. Now I have a fantastic tile which has so many uses. I could go here, finish this. I could go here, finish a monastery, start a new city. Like bam, 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 bam. But I think I'm actually going to go here and block Green's road. I know it might not look like the strongest move in the world, but it's a whole meeple. It is a lot. So I'm going for it. I know it looks like it's maybe a bit of a crazy move, but I really like it. Because you know what? I even have a chance of completing my city if I get myself the last dagger and a Dorito. Here and here. Alrighty. I get myself a monastery. And I think I'm going to just use it where it belongs. I will subject myself to multiple blocks, but sure, why not? Well, plenty of reasons why, but it's good. I think it's a good move that succeeds often enough. Okay, so my opponent gets a meeple back. He also gets the last dagger, making sure that I actually won't complete my city, but that's fine. I get to go here, continue my monastery, and I'm going to be completing that instead. So they will be now trying to block me. They will not succeed, but then here's what's going to happen. I'm like, I'm going to complete my monastery, but I will be creating a city connection platform, a field connection platform, which is not that great. But now that Green has scored 3 monasteries in a row, I have some catching up to do on the scoreboard. Interesting. So trying to block there. Is that the priority? Is that the way to go? I don't know. I don't like that move. Because, like, regardless of what you place there, there's no way to block that completely. So I have a suspicion that maybe green is thinking about a different dagger. Anyway, question is, do we go here or not? Here is possible, but I wish. Okay, let's just go for it. Right? Let's just do this. Yes, it can be unfortunate, but you know. Yeah, precisely because of that, my opponent, like, the best move for green now is to go here and drop a farmer. That's just mwah. But I had to try. I don't think I can afford to just wait for the perfect tile. And I feel like regardless of how I build up my monastery, there's this option available. And also, you know what? It wasn't guaranteed that my opponent would get a city tile. There's still plenty of road tiles too. But this is really, I think, by far, easily the best move. To go there and just drop a farmer, and then I will need to work really hard. Try and get myself all kinds of compensation opportunities. Yeah, there we go. Of course he knows his stuff. That's just pure beauty. I will, however, be taking a lead on meeples. So maybe there are chances for me still. Quadruple city tile is good, because my opponent cannot do anything with it really. And I will need to then later create an attack into the field via some marginal platform. Or you know what? If I get the Dorito, the city cap tile, then I can just score points for that city and win without the field. This is also an option. Fieldless wins are always an option. Anyway, so we get this, which I think we have to use here to score. Not ideal, but I'm helping my opponent with the field entry a little bit, but it's fine. It really is. Scoring tile for green, probably going to go at the top to eliminate some field connection opportunities. But I think there are ways to create a field connection platform. Just all I need to do is stay on top, keep scoring, keep scoring, keep scoring. Then, okay, they go there. It also makes some sense. Yeah, so the problem with this move... No, there isn't really any problem with this move. It's a fine move. Okay, do we go here or start a new city? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2 Doritos remaining. But you know, this Dorito plus Dorito pattern is not at all that likely. I think I'd better off waiting for the Dorito and trying to go there. So I'm just going to continue my city at the bottom. Like this. Trying to set up a farmer in the future. For example, on my last move, I might want to go here with a Dorito and drop a farmer whilst also gaining a couple of points. My opponents could be inclined to start a new city themselves, in which case I will immediately invade. So I don't think they're even going to do that. What they're going to try and do is simply play the field geometry. I should be counting tiles a bit more carefully. Also, how we're doing for points. So 5 versus 6. I'm down 1 point on the blocked features at the bottom. And I have 8 points for the monastery, which is a bit better than 2 points for their 6-point field at the bottom. So I'm down a field. And I'm up like 1 point. No, I'm up 3 points. I'm up 3 points. Okay, so they go for there, which is really smart. Because they're trying to... What are they trying to do? Well, they're trying to cover up field invasion options. I could go here, try and meeple a road, actually. Or I could go here and try and set up another invasion platform for the field. With or without the city. Do we get a meeple on the city? I don't think we do. We're running really short on city camps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One straight line. All right, let's go for this. I don't think it's bad. Also, now they can't really... Well, that's a very interesting. So they're gonna like want to start a new city, but then they will need to play their last meeple. Oh, this is fascinating. And if they don't go over there, I drop a farmer. But also one thing that I'm worried about is that from their perspective, there's a way how they can win even if they equalize the field. But then also from my perspective, there's a way how I can win without equalizing the field. Because I had several routes. I decided to create an attacking platform against the field, but I also could try and go the scoring approach. Maybe to get a 6-point road at the top using the last remaining road end, and then trying to score 2 6-point field at the bottom eventually. At the bottom right. But in any case, this is a very annoying idea for them to deal with. There are no dagger tiles remaining. Ooh, okay, that makes sense. I think I have to go for it. I'm just going to go with the farming approach. There are some situations how it could get blocked. I think I still should try. Invading the field. There's nothing wrong with invading the field, right? Right? It's a very committal approach. But there are just enough road tiles to make it work, I think. It also needs to be noted that I haven't connected my farmer at the bottom yet. Well, this guy, but this is still easy to do with one of the three remaining curves. No, I could so get blocked there. I could get blocked so hard. Also, I wonder if my opponent tries and block me from the top. That could be devastating. And it looks like this is exactly what we're about to experience. But at this point, I feel that, okay, there's nothing that I can do. So probably the best that I can do is just take this city. First of all, there's an actual chance of completing that city. Second of all, I will be getting a meeple back regardless with a curve. So, do they get a tile to complete the city? I mean, do they get some options to block? No, they don't. They're probably going to connect their farmer, I presume. And I'm going to continue with the city. And yeah, and it's literally, it can be completed. That's so fun. Like, imagine if I actually get away with the city. Oh, that would be such a way to win this game. That would be such a way to win this game. But instead, they find the best move that actually blocks the completion of the city. Oh, this is so sad. The sadness. There's nothing that fits into this square. Which is immensely sad. Oh, but you know what we get to do? We now get to protect our field connection. This might be better than taking the city points. Let me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Plus 11. So 11. Huh. So the field's gonna be 15. What increases my win percentage? Doing this or just getting an extra point? Because if I go here, it's also harder for my opponents to attack the city, which they can still do technically. I mean, this looks pretty good. But wait. Are there even blocking tiles available? Because they're big city tiles. They're... No, I think this is the way to go. Yeah, there are curves. I can still connect there. That's nice. And also, this tile was actually a real blocking tile for them. Because they could have used that tile to block my farmer. Because this is the last remaining straight line. So now my real chance of connecting to the field is just curve plus curve sequence. Which is still a 50-50. It's not that bad. So okay, they do complete their field connection. Fair enough. I will try and continue my city. To which they can still technically connect. Let's go here. They get a monastery, with which I really don't get to do all that much. This is fascinating. But I really need a curve ASAP. I need a curve so urgently. Because then I'm thinking maybe I can still win with just a city cap if I just complete that city. Because here are 3 points more for me. They get the city cap. That is sad. That is so sad. But I still have a chance of winning, I think. So I'm down 1 point. And all I'm just trying to do here is simply score, right? 1, 2... Oh, wait, no, it's not a 50-50 chance. I was the second player. Oh, wait, it's a 66% chance. Because they're obviously, yeah, there are more curves, duh. So there's curve, something else. And so my plan is, of course, to go here and drop a farmer. Oh, but if I go here, can my opponent reinvade? That's the key. But they can do this regardless. Yeah, that's the problem. They can reinvade regardless. I still have to go here, I think. Oh no, they can actually reinvade. Are you seeing this? They can get the last... Oh man. They can get the last horse and drop a farmer there. And if that happens... That is interesting. Okay, so it's actually a 50-50. So, okay, if I go here, they get the last horse. They drop a farmer on the right, trying to connect through a curve, right? And also, if I go here, it's not helping. Because they will be able to go here with a horse. Do you understand? For the 0-point farmer, because they will be anticipating this curve. So from... Like, and also, we know that they're going to find that move. So I wonder, does it make sense for me to go here and maybe meeple the road instead of the field? Because the idea is that if they connect and they complete my road, something like this. Doof, doof. Or at the very least, they don't get to... wait, 66, 66. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, 11, 5 points, 4 points. So if I go here, that's 8. If they have this plus this, yes. So I think this is the move. The fields and not the road. And here's the thing. Or maybe it was the field after all. So they should be finding their only winning move at the moment. Yeah, they get to go here. So the only way how I was winning is that if they were to get first to curve and then that thing, for which there was a 50-50 chance overall. I guess I still have to go there, but I will be giving them a meeple back, which is kind of sad. So let me think about this. So if I go here, okay, if I go here, I gain 2 points. If I go here, I gain 2 points. And then I gain 4. So actually, I think this is the way to go. Because I don't want to give them a meeple back. So yeah, I win. I win that field. Anyway, very exciting game. So I ended up losing that one, but it's very interesting to see what happens. Ended up being a 50-50. It's too long to explain, but it was an actual 50-50. So the chances of the right sequence, it's just too long to explain. Yeah. I lose this one by 10. Oh, by the way, the reason why I meepled this road rather than the field was to deny them a certain high scoring sequence. So if I meeple this field instead, then if they get the curve first, well, actually, it doesn't really change much. Yeah, never mind. It doesn't really change much. Then they can meeple the road. Nah, never mind. It really doesn't make that much of a difference what you meeple there. But I was kind of hoping for a scenario where they maybe give me a meeple back, and then I get to score this field with my last tile, but it just wouldn't work. Anyway, well, that was fun. Unfortunately, we lost. So what could we have done differently? My first question is, did we sacrifice too many points that could have been used for scoring? I don't think so. I think most of our moves were really reasonable. So giving back this field connection platform was iffy, but kind of what I had to do. Also, at that point, like, this city was a possible win condition. I could have finished it really with a couple more city caps. Just me drawing the city cap could have been enough at some point, and just conceding the field. So yeah, just a very complex game. This splitter move can seem a little bit iffy, but I know it's a block of my opponent's feature, whilst my feature can survive. Like, it cannot possibly be bad. So yeah, that's the game. Anyway, time for some AZUL. I'm not sure Admitted was here, if you're still there. So if anybody wants to take his place, that's also an option. Anyway, oh, 4 players. That's actually also an option. Oh, gotcha. Anyway, so I just want to wrap up with an AZUL game, so I'm going to use... just going to play somebody in arena mode in that case. Really feeling like some relaxing AZUL after all this complicated Carcassonne. Alrighty. We're playing against a Greek opponent whom we don't know. We get a fantastic run out, so this is very, very straightforward. These 3 reds go into the bottom row without much thinking. So what's the rationale here? We can quite easily threaten row 3 with 3 whites, row 3 with 3 blues, row 2 with 2 blues. We can threaten row 5 with 2 reds as well. We can threaten row 4 with 2 black. Like, it's just such a large number of opportunities. It's just incredible. Okay, now what's my next move here? I think it's actually this. Then if my opponent gets 1 white. No. I don't think it's this. Wait. Gotta be a bit more careful. What if it's this instead? My opponent gets 2 blues. I get 2 white. My opponent gets 1 white. No, I don't think it's this either, actually. Huh. What is it then? Is it blues to row 3? I think it's actually blues to row 3 because it forces my opponent. Well, there's some nasty stuff that it can do. So he can actually get 1 blue. Okay, he can now go with 1 black on row 4 and force me into this uncomfortable setup. So we can just hope that he won't see it, but I don't think it's a viable solution. Well, let's just do this. Yeah, I think it's good enough. Not sure there. Maybe I could have done something stronger. But in any case, it's not necessarily wrong to just put where things belong. Okay, well that makes it quite... that makes things much easier. Yeah. I get to just do this, don't I? I could just take the whites, but why would I give my opponent the joy of completing the row 2? Okay, that's okay. So we're just playing against somebody maybe rated between 1 and 200, maybe closer to 200. So of course they had to deny me something there. So they took black, which was the single worst possibility for them, because the black does not accomplish anything. It does not take away any of my key tiles, and it does not advance their position at all. Okay, let's complete row... wait, I kind of forgot about this. Yeah, so that's a decent move from them. They're trying to take away all the blacks from me. But now I will be hammering red. They take away the black. But in that case, I just get to do this and take away red from them again. And it's the highest priority at this point, because that red was so necessary for them, that there's really nothing remotely as useful for them. So it is worth spending a move. It is worth discarding that tile. And I will be completing my first and second row quite easily here. I could go for the standard tactic, but maybe this is actually stronger, because then I get to complete even more stuff. Yeah, let's actually go for this. So now they do that. And now I can go here and deny them row 1 as well. Or I could take actually this and just force them to drop floor line points. Now I think this is stronger. Strong might be a bit of a stretch, but it seems like something worth doing. And we are ahead on points, despite all the floor line sacrifices. If not for their blocked row 2, their position is surprisingly playable. I guess now it's time to do something about our blacks, or maybe not. I think we can just do this first. Wait. No, I don't think that's the case. Yeah, they can just too easily complete row 3. I think I'm actually going to do this instead. Wait, but then they just take the whites. No, that's bad. That's also bad. Yeah. Okay, let's start with this. If they want to take the first player tile with reds, then they can do so. It's not a problem for me. If they want to take away blues from me, that's even better, because they have no place on the board to fit them. Hi, Glavier. Nalaheim is saying, I often see columns 2 and 3 being progressed more often than others in your games. Is it just coincidence based on the tile distribution of the first round, or is there something else to it? Yeah, well, it mainly has to do something with them being in the center. Since they are in the center, that means that I'm more likely to get adjacency bonuses from them. Let's go here. Yep, that's very strong from them. Well, I guess I have to take what I have to take, right? There's several ways for me to complete my row 2. I will be, of course, denying them. Wait, actually, do I just go here? I don't need to discard even. I can threaten a second column with the whites and blues. Yeah, let's go for this. They make a natural move, and so do I. Although maybe for them it made sense to discard the reds just to not allow me such easy adjacency bonuses. Oh yeah, by the way, regarding your question, so about the 2 central columns, in multiplayer games this changes. Like in multiplayer games, sometimes it makes sense to do something other than the center. Okay. I'm gonna start by collecting the whites. I'm also gonna get myself the starting player for the final round. I'm also going to go here or here. I think here. I think I want to go here, just to really force them to take the whites. Now I'm really forcing them to take the blacks. Or maybe it's not as forcing as I thought. Okay. It actually makes sense for them to get that second column going. Now, what do I want more? The blues? Or to keep my opponent without points? Now, let's go for this, just because it's fun. It's more satisfying. Maybe not the most precise way to play this one out, but it is what it is. We do get the row 3 clogged, so that's nice. And I will be, yeah, but we will be losing a lot on the floor line. We will be losing a lot on the floor line. Maybe not as much as them. No, we'll lose more than them. Who am I kidding? Oh, but you know what's great? They can only complete 1 column in any case. Wait. So do I finish my row 4? Do I just take this? No, I finish my row 4. That makes the most sense. I will be dropping a lot of tiles in the floor line, but that is fine. Actually, I won't be dropping much more than them. They might even take the gold themselves. No, they do make the correct move, so they drop 3 and I drop 7, so only 4. Only -4 is the value of the last move. And I do get to complete 2 rows, except that these are not the top 2 rows. Anyway, so plus 26, let's see what their rating was. It was 401. I'm a bit surprised about that. Well, they did make that one big mistake in the first round. Yeah, I felt that they could have punished me a little bit harder, because in the first round I got away with just too much stuff on my second column and ended up being ahead of them. And then later on, oh yeah, of course, this move, them sacrificing their second row a bit too early on without the compensation. Yeah, typically if you lose one of your top 2 rows, unless you get something significant in return, then that's enough for your opponent to convert the advantage. Okay, ooh, let me just read the chat a little bit more. Nalaham is asking, yes, of course, 6th round is played, and sometimes, rarely, even a 7th round is played. In theory, it could go up to infinity, but yeah, 6th rounds are super common. Maybe like once every 20 games you get a 6th round. What are you suggesting for round 5? Oh, yeah, because there were no blacks remaining in round 5. So this is something that we're just not keeping track safely. Which also made my move a bit more sense. Because since... Yeah, I successfully denied them the blacks, and not only was there... Not only did they have their 3rd row clogged, but they also would not be able to complete their 3rd row even in the next round. Yeah, anyway, I tend to be not very good with tile tracking, so when I'm in a tournament, I'm trying hard. When I'm playing a casual game, especially one where I'm ahead early on, then I don't track that carefully, simply because, I don't know, for some reason, even though it's supposed to be easier than in Carcassonne, tracking tiles in AZUL requires more mental effort for me than to do so in Carcassonne. Oh yes, of course, and conversely it made sense for my opponent to use blacks earlier on, just recognizing how little there are remaining for the last round, in fact knowing that there were none remaining for the last round. Oh, by the way, this wasn't difficult to track at all, because I don't think blacks were even discarded. Yeah, look at this. So 4 here, 4 here, that's 8. 5, 2, 3, that's 18. 19, 20. So you actually don't even need to track the discarded tiles. You just gotta like look at the tiles which are already on the board. Yeah, so in that sense, tracking is actually easier. Alrighty. Anyway, unless we have any more takers, I'm gonna wrapping it up. Yeah, the blue versus black decision in round 4, that made sense. Also, I'm streaming this with about a 1-minute delay, so I don't get the chat messages as promptly. It's been 3 hours. Should probably be enough. Do let me know as usual if you prefer to have the Carcassonne and AZUL streams separately or not. I kind of like more the idea of doing them together, because I do sometimes get questions in the chat from players of one game about the other game, and that's definitely something that I want to encourage in the future. And then as for future streams, there's nothing planned in the next couple of days. Now, next week on the 23rd of March, so that's 8 days from now, we're having a big one. I'm playing a streamers match, a best-of-5 showdown against Nauheim, a YouTuber and one of the best players in the world. But before that, there are a couple of pieces of content coming up. In fact, try to guess which Carcassonne series is coming back after a long break. I've already recorded and edited the episode and scheduled it for upload tomorrow. So there is going to be an hour worth of Carcassonne content tomorrow. That's all that I can say. As for AZUL, some things are in the works. Hopefully something during next week. We're gonna see. Anyway, make sure to like the video, and that would help with the algorithm and stuff. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you soon.